Nampaknya Donald Trump masih
Keren
belum
banget
dengan
ya.
Malaysia. As Donald Trump sekali lagi memuji Malaysia.
Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good.
By 2026, ringgit will value below 4 ringgit per US dollar. And then to 77 billion this year, we see the government is cutting annual debt every year under Anwar.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jumpa lagi dengan saya guys, CAKMOJIB. Gimana kabar teman-teman semua? Semoga sehat selalu, bahagia dunia maupun di akhirat. Selamat datang di CAKMOJIB TV guys. Kali ini kita akan reaksi sebuah video yang sangat menarik. Amerika ya menyuruh kita untuk tiru Malaysia guys. Kok bisa seperti itu? Nah, ini sangat menarik untuk kita tengok, untuk kita bahas ya. Jadi jom kita simak videonya. Let's go.
One of the other things we're doing is separate from this meeting, but I think everybody here would agree with it. If you go to Japan, where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car, sort of like the Beetle used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small, they're really cute. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars. So you'll be able to buy, they really are, they're actually, some of them are really beautiful actually. If you take a look, Honda, some of the Japanese companies do a beautiful job, but we're not allowed to make them in this country. And I think you're going to do very well with those cars. So we're going to approve those cars. Would you like to say something about that?
Well, no, just that he never stops working, so even when he's on Asian time, he's calling me at midnight in the States. But he gave me the directive to clear the regulations on this, which we have. And so if Toyota or any other company wants to make smaller, more affordable cars, fuel efficient, we have cleared the deck so they can make them in America and sell them in America.
They're really nice and less expensive, and it really gives people a chance to have a car, you know, have a brand new car as opposed to a car that maybe isn't so great. And so you car companies start thinking about that. I think it's going to be a tremendous market.
Already 3 years since Anwar Ibrahim became Prime Minister. Is it 3 bad years or 3 good years for Malaysia? Opinions are split, but here is an analysis based on 10 objective facts. First, Anwar is positioned to end almost 40 years of government's deficit. For nearly 4 decades, government spending consistently exceeded revenue. When Anwar took office, the deficit stood at 5.6% of GDP. It was reduced to 5% in 2023, then to 4.1% in 2024, and is on track to reach 3.8% this year, and is projected to decline further to 3.5% in 2026. This trajectory reflects a clear fiscal discipline. Second, Anwar has cut government's annual debt every year. Federal borrowings decreasing from nearly 100 billion in 2022 to 93 billion in 2023, and then to 77 billion this year. We see the government is cutting annual debt every year under Anwar. Third, while deficit and debt are being reduced, Anwar has grown government's revenue by nearly 40 billion. Revenue rose by 20 billion in 2023, another 7 billion in 2024, and is expected to add 12 billion this year. In total, that is roughly 40 billion ringgit in additional revenue under the Madani government. This shows that Anwar has not only reduced deficit and government's debt, but also increased federal revenue over the past 3 years. Fourth, Bank Negara's foreign reserve rose to US dollar 123.8 billion at end October, the highest level in 10 years. This amount increases Malaysia's resilience to external shock, sufficient to finance 4.8 months of imports in case of crisis. We see that Malaysia is now stronger under Anwar. Fifth, the ringgit has emerged as Asia's top performing currency, trading at highest level against US dollar in 13 months. Ringgit has also strengthened significantly 2023 against Singapore dollars, reaching its strongest 3-year rate. It is projected that by 2026, ringgit will value below 4 ringgit per US dollar, and after years of decline, finally the ringgit has been gaining ground and showing better performance under Anwar. 6. Malaysia's unemployment rate fell to 3.1% in April this year, the lowest in 10 years, and dropped further to 3% in September. The job market is projected to stay strong next year. While it does not entirely solve job mismatch or underemployment, it shows that more Malaysians are securing stable salary work under Anwar compared to previous administration. 7. Malaysians are earning more. Median household income grew by 5.1% in 2024, while average disposable income rose by 3.2%. The minimum wage has been raised to 1,700 ringgit, injecting an estimated 10 billion ringgit into workers' wallet nationwide. And Penang recorded the highest income growth rate at 6.4%. In other words, Malaysians are now enjoying higher salary and more spending power. 8. Malaysians are now benefiting from lower petrol prices and lower
itu
interest
juga
rates.
keren
The
banget.
95 reform has reduced the cost of RON 95 petrol,
Bisa
while the
gitu ya
cut in
Malaysia
the
gitu
overnight
ya.
policy rate OPR to 2.75% has lowered monthly repayments. We see that Malaysians are now enjoying higher salary with lower petrol price, lower housing installment, lower vehicle loan, personal loan, and business loan.
Jadi bagus banget gitu loh guys ya, gaji naik ya dari pemerintah gitu kan, gaji standarnya gitu kan, tapi harga BBM-nya itu tetap gitu loh ya, malah kemarin dapat subsidi itu. Jadi kayak apa ya guys ya, lebih melihat dan apa ya, menguntungkan rakyat lah kalau kita tengok ya kan. Beda halnya dengan di kita itu ya kan, tambah naik aja barang-barang gitu, tiap hari naik, ini naik, itu naik gitu lah guys ya.
Under Anwar, households and companies alike have more cash left each month. Inflation in 2022, before Anwar took office, stood at 3.3%. After he became PM, it fell to 2.5% in 2023 and 1.8% in 2024. By October this year, inflation is further to 1.3%, lower than initial forecast. We also see this reflected in higher consumer spending. Beyond long queues at restaurants, Malaysians even line up overnight to buy the latest iPhone. Retail and wholesale trade expanded by 70 billion ringgit, rising to 1.77 trillion in 2024. Malaysians spent 12 billion ringgit on TikTok Shop in 2024, which makes us the 6th highest in the world. Malaysians are also travelling abroad more. Outbound tourism spending reached 28 billion ringgit in 2023 and grew by 15% to 32 billion in 2024. This clearly indicates more Malaysians can afford to travel overseas. 9. Support for low-income household has strengthened. In 2025, Sumbangan Tunai Rama (SDR) and Sumbangan Asas Rama (SARA) amount to 15 billion ringgit, assisting about 9 million lower-income recipients. This expanded assistance has contributed to narrowing Malaysia's income gap to its lowest point in 50 years. This improvement indicates Anwar fairer distribution of income between the rich and the poor. 10. Malaysia's global standing has improved across multiple international benchmarks. We have climbed 11 places in the World Competitiveness Ranking, rose 8 spots in the Global Talent Ranking, advanced to 33rd in the Global Innovation Index, and moved up 2 positions in the Economic Freedom Ranking. The Canadian Fraser Institute has ranked Malaysia as the world's top 10 among 165 countries for sound money, reflecting Anwar's prudent management. S&P Global give Malaysia stable outlook with A- sovereign credit ratings, attributing to Anwar's favorable policy-making environment. Moody's acknowledges Anwar's reform are moving Malaysia in the right direction, supporting effort to reduce fiscal deficit. The Asian Development Bank praises Anwar's economic fundamentals set for the country. Similarly, the International Monetary Fund praises Anwar's economic reforms, and the World Bank acknowledges challenges UNOR's fiscal consolidation strategy. In terms of investment and trade, Malaysia achieved record-breaking figures in 2024. Approved investments reached 378.5 billion, our highest ever. At the same time, total trade surged 2.9 trillion, also the highest on record. It is clear that in the 3 years since UNOR became Prime Minister, Malaysia recorded lower deficits, lower debt levels, higher government revenue, stronger foreign reserve, stronger ringgit, rising employment, higher incomes, greater spending power, and a narrower income gap. And these gains are further supported by positive evaluations from international organizations such as S&P, Moody's, ADB, IMF, and World Bank. Here are the 10 objective facts we can see over the past 3 years. It is evident that Malaysia has moved decisively out of the shadow of past financial scandal such as 1MDB and the long period of chronic mismanagement. In many ways, the nation now looks divided into two distinct eras. The pre-UNOR Malaysia, marked by scandal, instability, and weak governance, and the UNOR-led Malaysia characterized by stronger fundamentals, improving indicators, and far more promising outlook. Let us continue building Malaysia together.
Nampaknya Donald Trump masih
Keren
belum move on
banget ya.
dengan Malaysia. Terbaru Presiden Amerika Syarikat AS Donald Trump sekali lagi memuji Malaysia selepas beliau mengumumkan negara angkesan itu akan membenarkan pengeluaran kereta kompak buat pertama kali di Rumah Putih White House pada Khamis. Ia susulan beliau sendiri melihat populariti model kecil dan ekonomi itu ketika lawatannya ke Jepun, Korea Selatan, Malaysia dan beberapa negara lain baru-baru ini. Pengumuman tersebut mencetuskan reaksi bangga dalam kalangan warganet Malaysia, khususnya apabila Trump menyebut Malaysia sebagai antara rujukan kereta kompak.
One of the other things we're doing is separate from this meeting, but I think everybody here would agree with it. If you go to Japan, where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car.
Menurut Trump, kereta bersaiz kecil yang dianggapnya comel dan mirip Volkswagen Beetle itu menarik perhatiannya sekaligus mencetuskan idea untuk membuka pasaran baru di AS.
Wah,
They're very
gila.
small, they're really cute. And I said, how would that do in this country? And everyone seems to think good, but you're not allowed to build them. And I've authorized the secretary to immediately approve the production of those cars, so you'll be able to buy.
Trump turut menyebut beberapa syarikat Jepun seperti Honda yang menghasilkan reka bentuk kereta kompak yang cantik dan sangat menarik sambil yakin kereta kecil itu berpotensi membuka pasaran besar di AS. Sementara itu, Setiausaha Jabatan Pengangkutan AS Sean Duffy mengesahkan bahawa Trump mengarahkan pelonggaran peraturan bagi membolehkan syarikat seperti Toyota atau pengeluar lain menghasilkan kereta kompak mampu milik serta jimat bahan api di AS dan menjualnya di pasaran tempatan. Ramai pengguna media sosial mengandaikan bahawa lawatan Trump ke Malaysia pada November lalu mungkin memperlihatkannya model popular tempatan negara. Malah tidak kurang juga menganggap kenyataannya sebagai satu bentuk pengiktirafan tidak langsung terhadap industri automotif Malaysia terkenal dengan kereta kompak berpatutan dan praktikal.
Oke guys, kita sudah mendengarkan ya guys ya. Jadi gila sih, Amerika itu sebuah negara yang besar, tapi ketika mereka istilahnya melihat dan ya menyebut nama Malaysia gitu loh guys ya. Dan ini menjadi peluang besar untuk pasaran otomotif Malaysia itu sendiri ya guys ya. Gila sih guys ya. Malaysia disebut sebagai negara contoh sampai media barat naik huru-hara katanya. Waduh, apa sebenarnya yang buat Amerika tiba-tiba nak tiru Malaysia? Wah, jawabannya memang tak masuk akal sih guys ya. Jadi apa ya, biar banyak mungkin orang yang mempunyai kereta gitu, bukan kereta yang mahal tapi yang biasa-biasa saja tapi compact gitu ya. Orang lain menghargai Malaysia dengan kepimpinan negara ini diketuai oleh PMX. Namun sayang, ada sebagian rakyat Malaysia sendiri selalu merendahkan akan PMX. Syukurlah pada Allah dapat kerajaan yang amat baik pada rakyatnya. Ya begitulah guys, mau dimanapun kita berada, ada aja istilahnya orang-orang yang memang begitu gitu kan. Ada yang disukai, ada yang tak disukai. Namanya juga manusia. Tapi yang terpenting adalah jangan pernah berharap disukai manusia ya, karena belum tentu orang yang suka kepada kita itu benar-benar suka ya, atau hanya saja di depan saja, di belakang beda lagi. Tapi tak apalah, kalau memang suka kita ikhlas, kita sokong macam tu ya kan. Yang tak suka biar aje lah, karena kita tak ditugaskan untuk membuat orang lain suka kepada kita. Tapi kalau orang lain suka kepada kita, itu adalah bonus bagi kita. Yang kata Sabah miskin korang pergi Sabah. Orang Jepang, orang Korea, orang Cina mak saleh berlambak berduyun-duyun datang Sabah. Kalau Sabah miskin tiada pelancong datang. Korang pikir-pikirlah, Batak bawa tempurung orang tu kata keke. Macam tu lah guys ya. Kalau kita tengok ni bagus ya dalam kepemimpinan PMX ya guys ya. Banyak banget istilahnya prestasi-prestasi yang diraih oleh negara Malaysia ini. Dan semoga ini menjadi apa ya guys ya, acuan juga bagi kita yang istilahnya yang sekarang ingin berkembang gitu ya guys ya. Tapi masih banyak PR-PR yang harus dibenahi di negara kita ini. Dia coba nak pasaran Asia aja, sebab kereta buatan dia tak laku sangat belah Asia ni. Dah mahal, spesial boros minyak pula, part pun mahal. Iyalah kalau yang from Amerika tu macam tu memang. Tak apalah, macam tu lah guys ya, keadaan ekonomi, keadaan otomotif dan lain sebagainya. Yang pandai berinovasi itu pasti akan ke atas. Seperti Cina itu memang sekarang penjualan di Indonesia gila-gila banget. Apakah di Malaysia seperti itu saya kurang tahu. Apakah tetap masih Pro 2 menguasai pasar, dan semoga itu tetap menguasai pasar ya guys. Jangan sampai dilengsarkan oleh produk-produk Cina itu. Kalau di Indonesia udah produk Cina guys paling laris ya penjualannya di tahun ini. Itu sesuai data yang ada, yang pernah saya tengok aja tuh. Oke, itu dulu videonya guys. Terima kasih sudah tengok video ini sampai selesai. Jangan lupa like, share, dan subscribe. Saya pamit untuk diri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.